warm welcome to one and all present here. I, Shiny Goyal, student of Ph.D batch 2021-23 of Jaipuria School of Business, is happy to introduce you all to the outstanding and igneous panel of the day. The topic for the first panel is Marketing Innovations in the Digital Era. With lots of positivity, I introduce you with the extraordinary personalities who stand strong with their glorious years of extensive experience. It's our privilege to have Mr. Sudhir Zutshi, Director Policy and Strategy, New Initiative, South Asia at UN. He is also a member of South Asia Leadership Team and held additional responsibility as General Manager for Consumer Business in South Asia. Mr. Sudhir, with more than 19 years of experience covering sales, strategy, business, and people development, crisis and change management, and public policy, holds honors degree in food technology from University of Delhi, India, and master's degree in marketing and international business from IMSAR University, Department of MD University, India. Mr. Sudhir completed his Executive Leadership Program, ELP, in Business Management from Yale School of Management, SOM, New Haven, Connecticut in 2019. Mr. Sudhir completed his India Leadership and Global Leadership Program sponsored by UL in 2014 and 2016, respectively, an executive program on artificial intelligence and its implications on business strategies from MIT, Massachusetts. I feel elated to welcome you, sir. Our next panelist for the day is Mr. Ashish Patel, Managing Director, Morgan Franklin Consulting, USA. Mr. Patel has also served as Senior Vice President at Bank of America and has played an instrumental role in setting up operational risk technology and mobile phone banking systems. He is also the advisor to CIOs, CFOs, CROs, and other C-level executives. It's a pleasure to welcome you, sir. Moving forward for the next panelist of the day, Professor Satya Bhushan Dash. He is a professor of marketing, chairperson of Center for Marketing in Emerging Economies at IIM Lucknow. He also holds BPCL Chair Professor in Customer Care at IIM Lucknow. He has co-authored Indian Subcontinent Adaptation of Marketing Research textbook titled Marketing Research and Applied Orientation with Professor Naresh K. Malhotra. We are elated to have you, sir, here. Let me introduce you with the next panelist and the session moderator, Mr. Rishikesh Patankar, who is the CEO of CSC Academy and Chief Operating Officer, Education at CSC e-governanceService India Limited. He also worked as a Senior Research Scientist with Digital India Cooperation. He's currently handling Digital India campaign under Pradhan Mantri Grameen Digital Saksharta Abhiyan. With this, we hand over the session to Mr. Patankar to moderate the session by inviting the distinguished panelists on the theme Marketing Innovations in the Digital Era.
Thank you, Shiny. I think I'm audible. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the introduction. And first of all, I would like to thank Dr. Naik, Director, Jaipuria School of Business, all the management of Jaipuria School of Business, respected faculty members who have joined, and other attendees who are listening to us, audience who are online, and my dear students. This is really a great opportunity for all of us to be here and talk about the digital disruptions in marketing. As you are aware, India has been on the digital transformation space. And if you see, we are 1.3 billion strong digital identity, which is called Aadhaar. We are 1.3 billion plus digital identity, which are available in the country. We are having 1.18 billion mobile phone subscriptions. Apart from that, 700 million plus internet subscriptions are there. 700 million plus smartphone users are there in the country, and 500 million plus people are on the social media channels. So this is the digital canvas of the country. The age of digital transformation, and with it marketing has become combination of precise measurable science, and that's what we are hearing from the morning. And marketing is deep strategy. It is using leading edge technology, a lot of psychology, education, and in fact, course execution is being done. And there are a lot of engaging and creative art forms which are coming up. And today, successful marketing is where science and art actually intersect to deliver superior results. And as Mr. Satya was talking in the morning, I heard him personalize. So I think we can personalize and customize our advertising and messaging to each specific person. And that basically applies to all the fields. In fact, Government of India is also supporting with a lot of marketing assistance schemes in the area of agriculture, which is focus of the present government, micro, small and medium industries and food processing. So with this background, I would like to first call upon our first esteemed panelist, Mr. Zutshi, and I would like to hear from you, sir. What has been your current marketing strategy, and what kind of innovative ideas you are driving in your organization? Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Rishikesh. And first of all, it's an honor and privilege to be part of this August panel. And of course, I would also like to thank Dr. Naik for this opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
It's always, when you are doing this virtual conferences, always better to show something. If you allow me, I haven't made slides, but there are a couple of slides which I wanted to sort of. I know you have already given us a set of guardrails in terms of sticking those questions. But if you allow us, I just wanted to keep myself focused on one slide, and then over the course of discussion, it happens I can go to other slides. But to start with, maybe I'll if you allow, I can go with that first presentation slide. Let me know when you can see my screen.
Yeah, it's there.
So first of all, I'm from UL, but I would because I'm not speaking on behalf of UL. It's all my what I will be sharing. It's my own personal experience and observations that I'll be sharing. But I think more or less what speakers spoke from morning, I was really keenly hearing all the speakers in the morning, and I was just wondering what is it that different we can share. Honestly speaking, they touched from digitization to whole personas to customer experience, customer at the center. And I had to do a little bit of homework while I was listening to speakers and sort of seeing how I can make it a little bit different. And that's precisely I was wanting to sort of see touch upon this in the first slide. And this is something which companies are doing. And of course, I mean, something similar is also happening across companies. I have been working, or I'm working per se, I would say. I think it's important to understand here that the whole customer experience, if I would say, right from a suspect to the prospects or the customer final customer, this whole touch point journey is very, very critical. Now that touch point journey, if you see with the whole digitization, is completely transformed. And that's important that nowadays we are spending more time on the digital touch points of a customer rather than the conventional or physical touch points, if I would say. And that's where, actually each one of us is focusing on moments of truth. And moments of truth are very, very critical. And that's what I would say in terms of when you mentioned about what are we doing as a company. I think for us, it's very, very important to understand how this whole digital journey, digital touch points for a customer, or how is evolving on at each touch points. Some of them are managed, some of them are unmanaged. But I think what I would sum up here is in terms of those digital touch points, which are very, very critical. and how we are spending on them. And data clearly shows if you're able to manage those touch points, not necessarily all touch points. I think it's how you work through those, which points are more critical for you, is clearly that the returns go up, and your customer centricity, if I would say, the loyalty of the customers enhances. So that's what I would share, Dr. Rishikesh.
Yeah, thank you, Sudhir, for the introduction, and in fact, that was really lighting to see. Now coming to Ashish Patel, sir, he has been a technology leader, a strategist for top-level management, and has vast experience. And I would like to know from him what is his take on marketing strategy and the innovations which he drives in the organization.
Sure. Sure. I hope you can hear me, Rishikesh, and everybody else. All right, great. Thank you. Thanks. Yeah. So just quick introduction. I think everybody probably said. I generally, somebody will ask me a question, why are you here? And it's pretty, I would say, obvious question. I have a background. I'm a consultant, but I just want to introduce the fact that I am a frequent visitor to the educational institutes in India, and that's how I know Dr. Nayak for last probably 14, 15 years now. So we've been interacting, and he has been inviting me. I have been taking classes around in the colleges in India. So I come there. I'll be there in April, for example, to come for taking like 3 full credit hours in 15 days and go back. So it's out of interest. We call it giving back to the country, is what it is. And as much as I can share my experience, I've been in the US for nearly, I would say, 30 years now. So I came to study as a very young student, and I've seen it all. Virtually worked in very small companies, run from one single kitchen, and moving on to Fortune 50 like Bank of America. And now I'm consulting mostly with nonprofits, financial services, hospitality industries, CPG, and a lot of B2Bs apart from CPG, which is B2C, right? So I consult with a lot of them. And over a period of time, what I've seen is, I would say pre-COVID and even a little bit before that, there was a resistance towards technology. And I know I'm talking technology here, but I'll take it to marketing in a second. All right. And I heard since morning, we're talking about digital transformation. Everybody talks about front end, right? We talk about IoT. We will talk about, how customer experience, customer journey. And I think we all, I don't say we forget, but I think we always forget about the business enablers. These are drivers, the front end drivers, but we also talk about enablers. Everything is working. You talk about big data, but what is behind is also fairly important, right? And when we start talking about ERP, your performance management tools, your KPI tools, and to manage the front end, all the drivers, you also need the enablers. So I work both with enablers and drivers. This means when I go to a typical client, and I know Rishikesh had said, give an example of a client. I have a client, a B2C client, who actually gained a lot of success during COVID. They went from a $50 million company at start of COVID to 300 million over the last 2 years. Now, everything was failing. Technology was failing because they're legacy systems. When I used to visit these people, always there was resistance against spending money on technology. And now suddenly marketing is falling apart. Then I see that there are like 8, 9 different applications working in marketing to patch up for everything which is failing. All right. Their ERP is falling apart. They have different shopping carts. They don't have shopping cart unification. Right. Then the last one is data analytics, which I know is also a topic today. So what we have done for them is, and for a lot of other clients, is how do we modernize the technology stack, specifically in this case around marketing. They did not have a marketing technology, strategy. All right. So helping them develop the marketing technology strategy, because everybody loves to talk IoT, and I hear it all. Okay. But I put my hands inside there. All right. And then we develop a strategy for the client. We know you cannot do it in one day. How do we take each of these technology stacks and put the wheels together and then make sure the wheels are moving? That's what I do. So in this particular client case, we have already unified the shopping carts, which I hope you understand. Virtually, they can go to, which you do on Amazon and Flipkart. You put an order through on your phone, but now you went to your laptop and there's an email saying, hey, you did not complete your order. And I was doing that on Funs and Petals yesterday because I was trying to order flowers in India for somebody. And, I stopped in between because something came up, and then another message came on my email. Then I was on the laptop. So I started. So that's unification of the shopping cart. We did it for them. Lastly, when we reach to data analytics, I'll explain what we did for them for data analytics. And now we will take them towards what we call AI, artificial intelligence tools in marketing. So that's the gist, what we've done. That's what I do for bread and butter. And that's why I'm part of this discussion today. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ashish. And I think this was very insightful. The legacy systems you're working with, and it's typical problems which a small organization faces, and you are basically identifying the root causes and trying to strategize the solutions. Thank you for that.
Right.
Coming to Dr. Satya Bhushan Dash from IIM Lucknow, sir. I would like to know your take on the innovations in marketing, sir. Over to you, sir.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So I just want to touch some important aspects. What are the innovations? Okay, before that, I should thank the organizers like Dr. Naik and all the organizations who arrange such a very meaningful conversation where how the innovations in marketing take place. Just before that, I was doing some research as the Isodal Chair Professor at IIM Lucknow. I have done around 33 websites that user-generated review, learning, healthcare, and different livelihood, customer-centric citizen service websites. What I found that here also one issue is that challenges. What are the innovations that has been taken place for providing and delivering services, and what are the challenges? I'll tell, before going to tell about the innovations, I just want to tell about the challenges, because I have seen around 50 to 60% people on an average learning websites, around 40 to 50% people are not satisfied with the service delivery, whereas it will go to more sensitive sector hospital where 80% people are not satisfied. And most of the people like Max and these are famous hospitals, Max, Fortis. So 85% people are not satisfied because the medicine is not delivered on time. This is a very minimum thing. We are doing a lot of things about in the digital age, a lot of innovations. But does it really create value? This is a very interesting question. And most of the time we do a lot of innovations. We do not do evaluations. How really that, whether that is troublesome, for example, EPFO, Employee Provident Fund. I was doing a study where I have seen that these small employees, they are the largest beneficiary of the scheme because they can access their whatever the money they are keeping in the Provident Fund at any time they can access. And this is a very important money for them because in offline they cannot go every time to the earlier days traditional. Offline they have to go to the service provider and check that thing. But the problem is that because of the small size of the mobile and the internet connectivity is very poor, that's why they cannot access whenever they want. And several times the technological glitches, they cannot download things. So these are some issues we have to look into before implementation. But I will tell you something about today, how the innovation has been taken place. I will take maximum 10 minutes time. You see, everybody tells adoption.
Sorry to interrupt, Satya. Can you make it a full screen? The slide.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Mohan Agarwal.
Hi. How are you?
Fine, sir.
Sorry.
So, digital adoption by business people. This is statistics that this figure shows diffusion of digital technology across countries as measured by the digital adoption index. It's a very rosy picture. And if you look at the online marketing that it is forecasted, this is the US statistics, and largely I followed these slides Digital Marketing Strategies and Practices, Kagan and Singh, this book, Wiley publication. This is a US studies that tells about the forecasting is very high, digital ad spending and everything. And at the time, that is telling that effective, different, and top 15 most popular websites you can see here. These are all Amazon, Yahoo, YouTube, and you look at digitally changing everything. So 8th version, social media revolution series is changing everything. And we have done a study. I'm just telling you, ITC e-Chapel. That is a study that how ITC is doing e-Chapel through a lot of innovative practices he is giving, from the sowing seed to cultivation. Farmer goes to different practices like profitable crop, exposure to different field demonstration, selling price. So current users of ITC and before associated with the ITC, always those who are using ITC, their decision making ability changing. So ITC has an impact on the farmers' decision making ability. Digital continues to grow. Digital marketing is effective. Digital marketing is dynamic. Large growing market. This is, you can look at here. This is some statistics that is giving. Just a minute. इसको कैसे scroll करना है? Just a minute. Slide के साथ आया है. ठीक है अभी आ रहा है. So you can see here how this digital is 37.3% growth rate. 2018, not today's statistics, but the old statistics still shows that digital is growing much, and digital marketing is effective, offers most cost-effective way of reach and target customers, build superior customer relationship, because two-way relationship is much, and you can twist also a lot of like print media. You have done one version, but here you can do dynamism in every time you can change also, like your chatbot, WhatsApp, you can change a lot of things. Digital marketing is dynamic, dynamic creative across multiple destinations against highly segmented audience. So this is another important advantage. And also pricing can sell on cost per 1,000 impressions. There are a lot of studies that we have seen in literature also, that when we are doing digital, the cost per 1,000 impressions is less than offline. So revenue also high, and also interacting marketing practices. Created social media, you can see here, mobile marketing. This is always traditional marketing practices and digital. Always digital practices becoming more nowadays, more and more prominent. So there is a complete transformation in marketing communication in terms of digital. Digital represents a search marketing, search engine optimization and search advertising, display ads across banners and videos, social advertising, email marketing, mobile with apps and channels. So traditional marketing product, the nature of what a brand can do for consumers, pricing, transparency in transformational, because you can see the rate every day, you can access through email and everything. And placement, revolution in many categories. There is a very interesting story, long tail story. Earlier days, what happens, this people keep very narrow product line in the store, and those are popular. Nowadays in digital, there is no, not only popular products, you can access any product at any point of time. Because in the offline traditional space, the retailers have less space. Like you can see also even in movie and everything, we can watch one movie at a particular point of time. When the digital has come, there is a large pool of movies you can access. Netflix, Sony Live, they have transformed the movie business. Not just where the brand promotes has changed, but how they would do it. So impact on product, lot of innovations involving consumers in product development and design. Customization is a very important thing. And at each minute, each second, I can assess what are the changing need of the customers by tracking where the consumer's preference is going on, personalizing products and enabling mass customization cheaply. Impact on product. Nike Training Club provides a service as part of product proposition, helping women to maintain fitness. So earlier days in traditional it is not possible. Now you can do a community, people can do lot of communication about a particular product, what is bad, what is good about that thing, huge investment in content and distribution, great data acquisition for marketers perspective, long-term relationship, keeping ongoing relationship and everything. Driving sales of high margin and unique items by following a user to download free computer-aided design software. And also leveraging the long tail, what I was telling, this issue already I have explained, how new marketplace, you have multiple products, categories, you have a opportunity to choose from a multiple pool of products. And this is a very important opportunity for the consumers also. Because earlier days, only popular products, you can also try some new products. You can have a lot of information about which products are available nowadays, not only the popular products. So Google for search and discovery, e-commerce, all these things. Apart from this price, business has access to most information, middleman everywhere, travel agent, real estate. So earlier days, people had not access to price. Now they have access to price. There is symmetry in terms of information between the consumer and service provider. With the new pricing transfer, it's possible for consumers to compare retailers and price seamlessly and products quickly and easily. And apart from this placement, new sales channel, mobile tablets and smartphones, online search, online purchase is increasing nowadays much because continual merging of e-commerce research and transactions. Apart from this, the search engines follow the links, index content, measure popularity also, that marketers mostly adopted. This term search engine optimization of natural search. Apart from this, here I want to show you that how organizations are adopting. This is a very good statistics that has been shown. Following type of activity does your organization does a survey has been done 2013, long back. Agency or consultant, in 92% people are telling that search engine optimization, adoption of digital technologies for marketing is becoming much more nowadays. Location-based services, integrated GPS chip can provide the exact location of the device. It is the most accurate method, but also the most expensive. Cell tower localization. Yeah, I think I have crossed the time. No. Okay, so I have time. I can speak. Some location-based services such as mapping, people tracking, location hour, search advertising, and notification. These are some very important innovations that has been taken place. Waze is a social traffic and navigation app based on world's largest community of drivers, sharing real-time road information and contributing to the common good or their road. In-store navigating, finding items and showcasing specials. Personalized shopping provides in-store navigation specials for customers in the store. This is very interesting. New type of loyalty programs that now old punch cards being replaced by new generation of digital trackers used to stimulate repeat purchase, encourage loyal and referrals. So these are contextual shopping, iBicons. Early results are promising. There is an increase in interaction with advertised products. Sponsor, they have done experimentation, increase in likelihood that a e-shopper kept an app that sent to beacon message and their phones. So gaming also, gaming ads, interactive ads are very interesting to be involved and learn. Video game advertising, cost per thousand, the selling has become more. This is not possible in traditional, now digital that is possible. Voice access to the digital world is changing. Play streamed and downloaded music, ask a question, get news, weather, traffic, get sports news, play videos. So this is very interesting. Read, compose emails. Voice shopping, AI assistant are spreading more device the home and to environment beyond the home like the car and workplace. Groceries followed by entertainment, electronics. So survey by Consumer Intelligence Research found that Amazon has this very 69% of USA market smart speaker market, with Google brings 31%. So this is very interesting. Shoppers are also interested in using interacting fitting rooms, trial rooms, biometric ID and payment, VR, AR interactive signage, voice activated. Most critical thing is that the innovation, whatever is taken place in marketplace, consumers, one is rigor, another is relevance. This is now relevant to consumers. Consumers are more interested, those who are little educated, computer educated, they are more comfortable to use digital, take digital aid for shopping and their enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Das, sir, for bringing in research and giving us an insight on the 4 Ps on the digital age. I think the digital marketing you talked about, the adoption which is happening on the ground, and the reviews which you mentioned are really interesting. And maybe a lot of students would be interested to see these case studies and maybe learn from it. We are seeing, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So we are, sir, you can just remove your presentation, sir.
Yeah, just one second.
So we have seen the 4th industrial age, and continuously we are seeing the technologies in the 4th industrial age. In fact, marketing and data science are 2 fast-moving turbulent spheres, which we see. And these 2 spheres basically interact with each other. And this is the interaction where a lot of marketing professionals pick up tools and methods to move their companies forward. And AI and machine learning provide the data-driven basis for more robust and intensely targeted marketing strategies. And we have also seen using AI in some of the organizations, like machine learning and market research, marketplace segmentation, where a lot of companies are using artificial intelligence, influencer marketing, which we see, and social commerce, which our speakers were talking about. Coming to Sudhir sir, I just wanted to understand how you see the usage of artificial intelligence and data analytics in the area of marketing, and what is your suggestions to the students who are listening today? Over to you, sir.
Satya, really grateful that you shared a lot of content and data. And honestly speaking, I always have a great respect for the academicians for doing that outstanding work, which is always gives us a lot of thought thinking and process. And now Rishi is putting on a spot in terms of artificial intelligence versus how machine learning or natural language processing is being used and how marketers are using it. Now, see, let's fundamentally think about it. What I mean to say, it's not about technology. It's technology, whether it is artificial intelligence, whether it's IoT, whether it's being used across the businesses, whether it is operations, whether it's supply chain, whether it's technology is an enabler. I think Ashish did mention about it. We need to understand the fundamentals. Technology is an enabler. I can tell you that the radiologist today can see a X-ray, and when he leverage artificial intelligence, do you know the amount of accuracy and the amount of X-rays he can see? It is phenomenal. But that doesn't mean how artificial intelligence is being leveraged. Yes, of course, artificial intelligence, natural machine learning, data analytics, programmatics, integrating marketing tools, CRM, Salesforce, absolutely being used in marketing, which I call more of a digital disruption, leveraging those. Now, if you say how are companies using it, see, at the end of the day, you have to understand technology comes at cost. It's not about we are discussing today, and that's why I was wanting to shift gears in terms of changing the discussion, because it's a panel discussion. And honestly speaking, already speakers, I was listening to them. They've already spoken about data is new oil. Jaipuria sir mentioned about that. This is all there. I mean, we know it. But art of possible is how are you actually going to leverage those technologies plus, because marketing is not all about innovation, the creativity. How are you bringing thought leadership into it? How are you using the content developers? Because everybody is doing that. I mean, right from Nestle's to XYZ, B2B business, B2C, everybody is doing that. What is it that makes you, I go back to the moments of truth. I go back to the buyer cycle. I go back to the digital touch points. I go back to the traditional touch points versus digital points. how am I as an intelligent marketer, leveraging technology, leveraging creativity, and giving those moments of truth to that customer? That is the bottom line. It's not about technology. It's not about what I have. It's about leveraging technology, whether it's IoT, whether it's artificial intelligence, machine learning, whether I am using what I am, but it's about how I am ensuring that thought leadership in my content, how I am focusing on those touch points. Again, I will reiterate, and how I am creating those moments. That's the beauty. And I think when Professor did share a lot of data in terms of, in terms of digital marketing, there are a lot of challenges. Customers are frustrated. I completely respect that. There's nothing wrong in that. I think what marketers have to do is, if any innovation is happening, you have to fail, but you have to fail fast and move on. And there's always an iteration. I mean, if this is not working, let's approach some other approach. And that is the beauty of innovation in marketing. You work, you fail fast. That's how I would like to sum up. Yes, technically, if you say how you use artificial intelligence, how you use programming, I mean, honestly speaking, morning also it was said, yeah, Google, you keep a location. Can you imagine how your data is being used? And I'll come to a last slide because I want to give, I'm being respectful, giving opportunity to other speakers, Ashish and others also. But can you imagine that, whether it is Google or anybody for that matter, the amount of digital footprints you are leaving every day? That's what social listening, I think Nadia did mention about social listening. And that's very, very critical. The amount of digital footprints you are leaving every day, I sometimes really feel is the technology evolved to that the moment you think about anything, you Google type it, it comes there. I mean, see how much a marketer, for that matter, or a product selling company or a service selling company has gone so much into you that they really want to understand you as a persona. That's why we do personification, we do persona characteristics. And that's why it's not digital which is going to help me. It's actually the content, the creativity, the innovation which is going to help me when I'm doing the personification of a particular customer. Account-based selling. Why do you do that? Why do you want us to do segmentation? Why do you do customer mapping? All this because I want to bring creativity. I want to be more closer to the customer. Because there's complexity of everybody wanting to sell. There's a complexity of everybody to create those moments of truth. But what is that innovativity and creativity I'm going to create, leveraging those digital technologies, that I'm going to be at the focus customer every time. Thank you.
Thank you, Sudhir, for the insights you gave. And I think the personalization is most important here that most companies are using. Coming back to Ashish sir, I think you have a vast experience in terms of banking programs which you have led and transformed. I think that would be a good this would be a good opportunity where you talk about that and how the transformations have happened. Over to you, sir.
Well, when Sudhir started talking, I was going to hide under a table when he said technology is not the answer. I said, oh shoot, I need to leave. Sorry, I was kidding here. So, but then he really caught the point, right? And this is what I told you when I told you that there was resistance to technology, or suddenly now that everybody is a little bit insecure, or especially last year, I'll go to a client and I will hear the conversation saying that, hey, let's deploy a data warehouse. I'm like, why? Just because they are insecure that everybody else is doing it, so we'll do it. I said, no, this is what Sudhir is pointing at. No. What is your strategy? Everybody can do this. Everybody can get big data. Everybody can get new technology implemented. It's least important, guys. And I will sell technology. And when you converse with me, and that's how I teach the class, I never use a book. And Dr. Nayak knows that. I just give everyday examples because in an average daily, I talk to around 10, 15 clients. So I'm going through a small company, big company, banks and everything. And I hear all these stories and I get very scared when client says, we have deployed 3 data warehouses. I'm like, why? And they have no answer. So this is very right. And I'll tell you where it makes a difference. A single example in interest of time, advertisements, right? We see that We are bombarded with advertisements everywhere. We are talking right now, and you know that Facebook is listening. I'm my Amazon discount here. I'm sure they are listening and enjoying this conversation and thinking, let's take some notes. Who knows, right? They all are listening to you. They're throwing advertisements at you. Otherwise, think about, we had radio advertisements. We had on the web advertisements since internet came up, but most of them were irrelevant, right? Where we are going now with the technology is what we call predictive analytics. As you hear about it, everybody heard analytics forever. Since statistics came up, we are doing analysis. But how do you make it better and better using technology? When we talk about prescriptive analysis, when we talk about predictive analytics, a very good example is, as you travel now on airlines, and I travel a lot, so I've seen this peculiar thing over last 2-3, especially around last 2-3 years. I don't hear this that we are delayed because of maintenance, right? We don't hear that much now. We don't hear that. Maybe there's a weather delay, is maximum what I see, or there's a personal delay, shift is over and all that, human interventions. But why don't you hear it is the predictive analytics. We have been using, we talk about IoT. Every new plane has multiple, we are talking thousands of sensors on it. They are trying to predict something will break down based on patterns, based on data, based on historical data, and they're trying to predict and replace a part even before it goes bad. And that is one of the major reasons air conditioners don't break down in buildings. That's a major thing. Airlines are not breaking down. So there are a lot of relevance of technology. And when we talk about artificial intelligence, that's one of the key points when we talk about advertisements, right? Or customer experience. The relevance is the key. How do we make the advertisements more relevant, right? So we don't get bombarded with all junk and then we get bored and we start deleting everything. Well, let's focus on when Ashish is searching flowers. That's what Fons and Petals did. They will say, hey, would you like to add a cake? How did they know? Well, they're connecting dots. Okay. And that's exactly where technology is leading us. That's what artificial intelligence is about. Because if humans were doing this, imagine how many human beings we need to see what Dr. Nayak needs, what Sudhir needs, right? What Rishikesh needs, and it will never end. But the idea is to churn this amount of data. You're getting data from everywhere. And that's another problem. So companies say, hey, great, we have big data warehouses, we have data lakes. I hear all this. You can as many ponds, lakes, data. Does not matter. Collect the dark data, white data. I don't care. And I sell technology and I speak in very basic human terms. All that is great. What are you going to do with it? Well, we don't know. That's the problem. Okay. The problem is not technology, because technology has become very easy now. It is so easy, right? I hope that day does not come when a child is born and first thing he asks for is a mobile phone. I am really scared about it now, looking at where we are, because 1-year-old, 2-year-olds are operating mobile phones. Ease of using technology is at the forefront, right? And that's what I was talking about my client. We are trying to make the presentation layers are so easy. When we developed mobile phone banking, guys, remember 8 patents were filed by Bank of America because there was no foundation in the world. It was so hard. It was so hard to bring up with the common technology. Look at where we are today. Yeah, it's so easy, like everything is on mobile phones, everything is everywhere. We hear that there'll be no more mobile phones in the future. That's what Apple is thinking, that we have to come up with something different. Mobile phones will go away. We will say, oh, wow, it's not possible. It's possible. You know that anything is possible, right? When Apple starts building cars, you know that anything is possible, right? Cars will be, you will not pay for cars. You'll pay for service very soon. Car will be car as a service. So overall, giving an idea, yes, artificial intelligence has a lot of utilization in terms of customer experience, customer journey. I don't want to get into this, that it has changed. We all know that the journey has changed. Customers are thinking differently. The average buying cycle is low. So we need to harness the technology to ensure, since the buying cycle is so small now. Previously, you buy a mobile phone, you're keeping it for 6-7 years. You're evaluating, then thinking, okay, we'll buy it next year and things like that. Now it is short and quick. Nobody cares. Everybody buys when they need it. You have to keep up with it. That's where you need to harness the technology. All right. So that is the key point, I think, relevance. And one thing I want to say, where technology will fail, or I must say artificial intelligence has not reached to a level, when we talk about the human empathy, the storytelling, which I'm doing right now, right? Storytelling, empathy, passion. Technology cannot do that. And in marketing, in sales, in the end, when I tell you that I am in front of all the CFOs every day, in the end, my storytelling and empathy is what makes a sale. That's not going away. All right. So we have to use technology in the right place. Relevance is the key. Relevance is the key. Enabler, yes. So I hope I made sense. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Ashish. I think that was wonderful and a lot of insights. In fact, I wanted to just tell a case actually, about John Wanamaker. Actually, a lot of academicians must be knowing about that. John Wanamaker actually he coined the term that half the money I spend on advertising is wasted, and the trouble is that I don't know which half. And there has been a lot of research also now, and 100 years down the line, it is said that he is not alive today, Wanamaker, but he would have all his answers today, that he would be able to accurately and precisely measure the return on investment of practically every single activity and dollar spent. I think that was wonderful. We are running short of time. I'll move to the Indian context now, and for the rural markets actually. Since we have data of census 2011, as well as a lot of surveys which National Sample Survey organizations have done. And in fact, a lot of people in the rural India, we have nearly 70% people living in the rural areas. And both this data, census data, as well as the National Sample Survey organization says that nearly 90% of the people do not have access to the digital devices. And I think the 21 survey, the census, which will happen in later part of now 23, I think, will give us more accurate insights on the availability of computers as such. But since the data is a little older, 2011, 2014, and the latest survey in 2018, I would like to know from Professor Das that how rural communities would be able to use this digital disruptions and how they are basically coping up, since seeing the problems that a lot of people do not have direct access to any digital computers. And we have seen, in fact, a lot of students during COVID pandemic and lockdown also were not able to attend their classes. So respond from Professor Das. Over to you.
Yeah, so I have done some study, extensive study in rural areas also, that what is the value they are getting from digital. So when we are talking about this value framework, there is some utilitarian value, that functional value, what somebody can expect from a digital platform. There is some kind of value that is telling about the social value, that I am proud of, that I am using this mobile platform, or I can connect to people. And there is some enjoyment value. They do a lot of entertainment and everything. So it is surprising to note that regarding the functional value, what are the, for example, a farmer, when he can access a lot of information from a digital platform by assessing the weather, market price, but most of the things, either they are not taking interest to get this information, and sometimes they do not know also how to use. Most of the time, education is a very big problem, how to use your digital technology. So that's why it is limited with the enjoyment and social value. More users of Facebook. Nowadays, more digital youth and farmers, they're using Facebooks and different social media to connect. And also they see a lot of time the movie, a lot of Netflix, so many things they know, I also do not know. I was discovering. They're spending a lot of time, they're doing a lot of research on that thing, because now this music is accessible, entertainment is accessible with a less broadband and less price. They do not want to go to a movie theater and everything they can see. But really, whatever you are talking about education, that a rural kid, for him in a third world country, that how we can make the education accessible. Government is doing a lot of platforms, like I have seen Nista and all these things. A lot of work has been done, but they are not accessing this information. That is really very troublesome. So that means social value and enjoyment value dominates this utilitarian value.
Thank you, Professor Das. Coming to Ashish sir, how are these challenges actually in the if organizations are using digital marketing and on the ground people do not have access to those mechanisms? So how you see that problem and how these challenges can be solved?
Well, first of all, I know that when I say this, you will say, "Wow, that's a huge problem to solve," and you know, you are giving a pretty broad answer. But the fact of the matter is, the government has to interject, and whether it's investments in infrastructure, which they're doing, I think it's pretty heavy right now, because whenever you build highways, more and more villages get connected. And I frankly, and I keep, when I teach my students, I tell them I really follow a lot of YouTubers who actually run across India, because I miss India. When I miss India, I will just catch one YouTuber who's on the mobile and he's going to some city. I'll go on the city with him virtually and visit. And I have visited so many cities virtually because of that. But I've seen the progress in India, in terms of highways and the connectivity. I think that's the key point. The base point, the foundation point will be solved by the government. I had done this presentation probably for a year or two ago. We hear about Digital India, Make in India, Startup India, Skill India, Rurban. Instead of urban, it was Rurban, RURBN. I think the government has a lot of initiatives. They just need to pace up. This problem also exists in developed countries like US. Our rural US is not as well connected as the urban US. Okay, you'll be amazed, but you will go and find that people still connect using telephone, which, if you remember, at one time we used to go to the internet connecting using a telephone, right? A telephone line. People still do that in US. So don't think that India is behind. I think India is in the forefront. I cannot use a mobile phone in my metro in Washington, DC, the capital of this country. Where it goes underground, this was built in like 70s or whenever. So they don't have that wireless connectivity. So I lose connection in the daytime when I'm traveling. Sometimes, very rarely, I travel a metro, but if I'm going to DC, nobody wants to go in the traffic using your own car. So, but in India, because, and that's what I'm saying, that this whole ideology, which people have in their mind, India's behind. I'm like, you guys are totally wrong. We have been punched again and again saying that you are behind, you are behind, you are behind. I said, who says that? Because, when you are developing a new infrastructure in totality, like in India, the opportunity of metros, I was giving an example, you can actually be 5 steps ahead of people who have done it 30, 40 years ago. And that's the key point. That's the key point, right? I am just looking at everything. I'm looking at ISRO with all the modernization they've done with satellites. How many satellites can they launch? Can they tomorrow start competing with Elon Musk, like, throwing 40 satellites at a time, which ISRO is trying. It has done successfully, and bringing the rural part together. Second thing I tell you, in rural side plus the urban side, the other focus which we have lost, and we keep talking about it but have not done a lot, is around women. In India, I think there was a study done a few years ago, 17% of contribution on GDPs from females. World's average is 34%, double. And imagine how many women are there in the rural area. I think we need to focus on that. I think, and everybody has mobile phones these days, guys. Nobody can deny that in the rural area, money is there. Everybody, this is another misconception. Oh my God, poor are in villages. Absolutely. Come to a village with me in Haryana, Punjab. I'll show you how many poor live there. They have a lot of money. The key point is channeling it right. I don't think there's an issue. Yes, if I go to a deep village, I belong to Rajasthan, deep village, I can, yes, guess that there will be issues with infrastructure, and that's where the focus needs to be. But overall, I think that channelization of marketing to the right people, like I gave an example, females, right? Secondly, one is digital marketing. Second is how are you what sells in city may not sell in the villages, right? You can sell a liter of shampoo in the city. You know that sachets are more common in the villages. They don't spend money. They're much smarter. They spend money slowly. Okay, that's what I feel. I have a lot of, so I think I saw this topic and I said, hey, I don't have a lot of experience with rural India because I'm not there, unfortunately. But when I tell you, my structure will be, let's focus on the females. Okay, how do they access the devices? They watch a lot of TV. I mean, they like to watch serials and all. That's the only mode of entertainment most of the females today also have in the villages, at least. City, it has changed. It's a fact, right? How can we use social media for them? I think it's a matter of, and then the government needs to pace up. That's for sure. I hear all these, I just gave you an example of this make in digital, suburb, urban and everything. How do you pace it up is the key. And then we can see the changes. And like I said, it's not only in India, like, we again quoted, but it's everywhere. All right.
Thank you, Ashish, and hitting the nail on the head, actually. Coming to Sudhir ji, I think you have been a part of various committees at the government level, and you have vast experience with FICCI as well. Maybe would like to know, and students would also be interested.
Rishi, just sorry to interrupt in between, but
5 minutes, sir.
We'll take another 2 minutes each, because I know, it's almost 2 o'clock in Washington. Mr. Ashish is so kind with us. He's here with us.
So I think we'll leave him by 12:15, 12:20 maximum.
Closing, sir.
So yes, yes.
So these are 2 minutes.
Too early for Ashish.
You guys
Ashish,
can
you're in
continue.
DC?
Listen, I have another meeting after this. I'm not going to sleep. So he is wrong. He knows me.
No, sir, please be with us for another 5 minutes.
No worries.
I think
will be here. Yeah,
Saini would
right.
love to felicitate you. I mean, before felicitating, she will not
No
going to
worries.
leave you.
Please, please.
Please don't leave. Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah, Rishi, go ahead.
Yeah, so these are your take, and since you are part of the FICCI and the various committees of the government, maybe you can wrap up in 2 minutes and your wisdom to the students.
Okay. So I think building on Ashish, and Ashish, my apologies. You're from DC, and 2 a.m. in the morning. It's I mean, it's a really a privilege that you joined so early in the morning. I think building on Ashish's point of rural India, let's talk from the government side. Let's talk from the industry side. Now I'll go back to that the digital, or I would say conventional touch points to the digital touch points. See, I think at the end of the day, a company needs to decide whether it's a B2C or a B2B or a B2C company, and basis that, whether I have a rural market as my target customer, or I have an urban market as a target customer. So that's with respect to if I talk from a company standpoint. Not when it comes to that, why digital? Yes, it is a challenge, honestly speaking, and we all must accept that challenge. But I also want to say what Ashish has said exactly. Let's say India's rural is much more urbanized than if you go to the developed parts of the world. Talk about Europe, talk about US, and talk about any part. Even Vietnam has got much more internet penetration than any best of the developed markets, if I would say. I mean, I was astonished to see the amount of internet penetration in Vietnam. Now, having said that, I think government has to do a lot in terms of infrastructure. I think 5G is one which is going to completely transform this. And I know there's going to be a lot of disruption with and I'm not going to name, because if somebody notes me and then somebody is going to file a suit against me, and why are you talking about something? So, but I'm just saying that 5G is going to completely disrupt some of the big giants in this space who are right now, top-notch digital marketers, if I would say, where we're leveraging them. Having said that, let me sort of sum it up for the students. I think I wanted to sort of share this slide, which if you allow me, let me know if you can, and I'll close this. And I know I'm being respectful of time to other speakers who are there. But I think this is one thing. At least I can say, well, there was something which I left as a leave behind. Let me know when you can see my screen as a leave behind for everyone. I think we have to understand now. Say our whole marketing, strategy, if I would say, has to have on 3 pillars. Because of the pandemic, safety is critical. Safety for our customers, and that's why if you see today, we are talking about virtual seminars. We are even talking about virtual booths. We are talking about the customer experience in those, and the tremendous platforms which have been created by technological giants in terms of how do you want to sell your products. Now imagine now the companies have understood how much ROI we can get out of it and how much budget we can save. And there is a statistics which says how much we have spent on conventional marketing on before COVID and how much we are going to spend now. And it's completely a game changer. Now that's what we have to understand. The 3 pillars: safety, security, and sustainability. And I think in the morning, everybody spoke about sustainability, did people, because everybody talk about net zero emissions. That's how the marketing CMOs, or for that matter, people who are into marketing profession, need to think about sustainability, how they are using marketing channels which are sustainable. But I think the important point which I wanted to mention here is you have to understand from the customer standpoint, and that's the point which I wanted to make. And this was not touched, honestly speaking, was on security of this data. And you see there are, and this is important for each and every company to understand. We have EU GDPR, we have data privacy laws here in India, we have data privacy in other parts of the world which are coming. So it's important for every marketing company or any CMO to understand that how we're ensuring the security and safety of that data. And that's very, very critical. And I want to leave the thought with students, guys, marketing has completely transformed. There is a more need for data analysts. analysts, as Ashish mentioned about, there's more need for innovation, creativity, content creators. There are independent content creators. You want to be a content creator, be an independent content. Sell it. You can earn tons of money because these companies are looking for content creators. And that is what I would lead to. So it's not about just looking, okay, marketing is a conventional marketing. It's completely transformed. We are looking for data analysts. We are looking for, and CMO is more doing a CIO kind of a job. Let me tell you, that's how this whole thing is transformed. Ashish is smiling,
Yeah.
but that's how we want, and we have to change.
Thank you, Sudhir.
Before I wrap up, I leave with this, that for anyone in digital marketing, change is an integral part of job. You must keep looking ahead and strive to embrace the new technologies, tools, and strategies to gain an edge over your competitors. Ashish, I love technology. I leverage technology. Thank you so much.
Thank you all the panelists. In fact, we have run out of time. I just wanted to share a small story by Thomas Friedman actually about the gazelle and the lion. So every morning in Africa, a gazelle wakes up. It knows it must run faster than the fastest lion or it will be killed. And every morning a lion wakes up and it knows it must outrun the slowest gazelle. Otherwise it will starve to death. So it doesn't matter whether you are lion or a gazelle. When the sun comes up, you better start running. Thank you very much. Jai Hind. Over to Shiny.
Thank you.
I extend my sincere thanks to Mr. Rishikesh Patankar for wonderfully moderating the session and bring out the nectar in the form of knowledge and wisdom. You have rightly summed up, sir, that how marketing and data science always interact with each other and how AI help to target the marketing strategy. I also express my heartiest thanks to other guests of honors and expert panelists of the session. Now, I would like to call Director Sir Dr. Tapan Kumar Nayak for presenting the virtual memento to all our guests of honors and expert panelists.
Please go ahead, Shiny. Please go ahead.
Yes. Mr. Sudhir Zutshi, Director Policy and Strategy, New
This is for
Initiative,
you. So that's a
South Asia at UL. Mr. Ashish Patel, Managing Director, Morgan Franklin Consulting, USA.
Ashish, this will be with me. Once you visit in April, I'll hand over to you.
You remember, I have a collection
Yes.
here in my room. So
Right.
Professor Satya Bhushan Dash, Professor of Marketing, IIM Lucknow.
Sir, I'll send it to you. Right.
Mr. Rishikesh Patankar, CEO of CSC Academy and Chief Operating Officer, Education at CSC e-governanceService India Limited.
Thank you, sir.
Rishi, thank you so much. It was well coordinated, well moderated, and this memento will reach to your office very soon. Yes.
Thank you, sir. With this, our very engaging session of Panel 1 has come to its end.